I'm Felicia Shakiba, and this is CPO Playbook, where we solve a business challenge in every episode. Today, we're addressing an issue that's keeping many business leaders up at night: the growing hesitation to make bold decisions amid rapid technological shifts and economic uncertainty. With AI advancing at breakneck speed, organizations are caught in a cycle of analysis paralysis, fearful of making the wrong move, yet equally fearful of standing still. This caution has led many leaders to pause on hiring and innovation, hoping for stability that may never come. To unpack this, we have William Tincup, a thought leader in talent acquisition and a candid voice on the state of HR. He's here to offer a unique perspective on why this hesitation could be the biggest risk of all, and to share actionable insights for moving forward with confidence. William, it's wonderful to have you here.
We should have recorded the pre-show. That's my only regret. My only regret in life. We should have recorded the pre-show. Thanks for having me on, Felicia. I appreciate it.
Oh, William, it is fantastic for you to be here. It's just an honor. You are definitely a thought leader, and I am really excited to get into it today with you.
Well, the definition of a thought leader in our industry, there's a low threshold. And I've always struggled with the thought leader because most people are thought followers. Someone else will say something like Josh Burson or Jason Abbrook or somebody, Marcus Buckingham, will say something and I'll be like, yes, I agree with that. And then they will then cut a path, right?
Right.
I think for me, the definition of a thought leader is you have to say something that people disagree with. That initially, you have to say something so bold that people initially are like, yeah, that's not right. Or I don't believe that. Or I can't think that way. And then they come around. You have to actually be leading. Like the idea has to be so.
In the unique sense.
In the unique sense, it has to be ahead of where people are currently. And so, but in our industry, people don't think that way. They just think, oh, you blogged about something and, you blog a lot. So you're obviously a thought leader. No, you're a blogger. And that's cool. Like no hate for the people that write or whatever, but like to actually be a thought leader, you have to have something that's ahead of people. And again, initially, generally speaking, people are off put by what you say.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to steal that from you and talk about that in my show.
As you should as a thought leader.
Right.
So.
Oh, we're off to a great start.
It's just that it's what it is. Yeah. No, you're good.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love it. And I'm really excited to kind of get into this topic with you today because I think that you've also met with a lot of people and you've kind of heard on your own podcast, what's going on in the world. And so you had mentioned that many leaders are really waiting for stability and predictability before moving forward on their AI choices, particularly. So how did we reach a point where so many organizations feel stuck in this analysis paralysis? Like, what do you think is driving leaders to be so cautious right now, especially given the urgency of keeping up with AI and digital transformation?
They want to get it right. And there's no such thing as right. And so if you use the analogy of the internet, when the internet came available, a lot of people used the internet in the mid-90s, but they used a fraction of the internet, message boards and other types of things like that. When it became commercialized, people just threw stuff at it. Like, can it do this? Can it do that? Can it do this? And they took risk. And that wasn't just practitioners. That was investors and companies, startups. And so you didn't have as much of the analysis paralysis because it was just, let's experiment. Can we sell dog food over online? And is that a good idea? And so what we've learned with this thing 20 something years later is we've been marketed to for the last 5 years about AI. We've been using AI for much longer than that. But people, especially in HR and talent acquisition, they feel like there's a right. I want to get it right. And that's what's held up this belief of implementing something. And you know what? If it doesn't work out, try something else. Experiment, which is well, if we could learn something from marketers, that's what we would learn is A/B testing and being agile. We're just, okay, we'll try it out. Okay, yeah, that didn't work. Okay, good. Like, and this is, well, it might even be years ago now at this point, but Amazon rolled out a hiring kind of a persona-based matching bit. And it came back as, let's all hire all white males. All right. So clearly bias and clearly a misfire. And then they came out and said, we're going to take it down and our bad. The fail for me in that is they should have said, you know what? It has our biases. Of course it says white male. Of course it does this stuff. We're going to fix it. We're going to tweak it. We're going to recalibrate it. We're going to keep tinkering with it until we get it right. And they didn't do that. They basically said, yep, it's wrong. We'll never do it again. They just ran from it. And it's like they had the opportunity to teach everyone. Yes, of course, this is wrong. Let's get it right. Let's calibrate, recalibrate that recalibration process with AI. That's never ending. You're always looking at the algorithms. You're auditing your algorithms. You're making sure that it's doing what it's supposed to do. That never ends. And so the idea of as a leader to then think that there's going to be this magical moment where it's right, there's no such thing. So that's why we have some of the analysis paralysis.
When we're dealing with people's careers, people's lives, there's a big impact in getting it wrong, right?
Yep.
From your perspective, what's the real cost of hesitation? How are companies missing out by not moving forward decisively?
Well, let's just use talent as an indicator. Those that interact with talent on let's say the internal mobility side and on recruiting, so both sides, the candidates move faster than we do and have for years. And so a lot of it comes down to their smartphones, right? When you text me, the expectation is that I text you back, even if it's a text that say, hey, man, I'm in the weeds. Can I talk to you tomorrow, etc. That bit. But you expect something back. By not using AI now, you're losing those candidates. Those are candidates where there was a moment of attention. They somehow caught it, and then they hit a button, did something, and then they moved on. And you didn't capture that moment of attention. And so and this is also true with internal mobility, where people are thinking about there's a job open, and they're automatically Sally is excellent at that. Let's at least ask her if she would like to do it, put her name in for it, or etc. But we've got to be able to have that matching. We've got to be able to know that Sally's competent, all that type of stuff, performance related, but we also need to know her interest. And does she want to go to London? Does she want to open up a shop and do this bid? Like, we've got to know all that. Where is that data if not in AI?
Yeah. What are her career aspirations?
Right. So then Sally doesn't get a note, doesn't get any of those types of things. And all of a sudden someone else approaches her and say, hey, we got a job that we think you'd be great for. She leaves the company. Now we've just lost that talent. So I guess you could say loss in both ways. If you're not using AI to be faster right now, you're already behind.
We'll be right back.
Hey, this is Brent Skinner, host of Small Talk Window here at the Work Defined Podcasting Network. Have you ever wanted a short podcast to listen to during a coffee break of your workday? You've come to the right place. My guests dispense with the small talk as quickly as possible and settle into a meaningful conversation around the world of work.
back to the show. And the loss of, I think, attrition, the cost, financially is like 3 times an individual's salary, right? So that's the financial cost. Then there's, what is it called? The internal knowledge, right?
Yep.
Of what they know.
Yep. An opportunity cost of the time in between that person leaving and a new person starting, not just starting, but getting to a place where they're competent and adding value. That quality of hire metric, I think it's a great metric. So I think quality of hire, the way that people have conceived it, might be a little bit wonky, but I like the idea of connecting what happens on the candidate side to performance.
I agree.
I do like that. So there's some connective tissue there. I don't think anybody's got it right yet. I think it's easy in sales, much harder in something else. Like sales, okay, how long did it take for Melissa to get from source of hire, all the way to her first deal closed?
Right.
But okay, well, what do you do with positions that aren't revenue facing or like that?
Yeah, onboarding is so critical. I think it's a space where a lot of organizations miss, because it's like the onboarding, right? Like how productive can someone be from hire, to productivity, or maximum hire productivity. And it's that much time with that many candidates, like the multiplier is so big.
Well, the albatross hanging around HR's next is treating everybody the exact same. And so with candidates, understanding how they like things, meeting them where they are. Okay. So so you could take some of that stuff that's pre-boarding, and after they sign the offer letter, and shoot it to them and hey, whatever you want to do, if you got questions, we got a chat bot that will answer those. If you need to triage it, we'll get a person on the phone, whatever you need. You just get this out of the way before we get into work, and let's make work onboarding fun.
Yeah.
Getting to know people and, all of that stuff, even in a virtual or remote environment, you can do all the fun stuff in onboarding. And oh, by the way, onboarding is something that lasts forever. It's not what we probably grew up with. I'm older than you, but basically I just made you older. So, so the thing is you're always in this mode of recruiting the person that you've already recruited. Because if you're not, someone else will. And especially if they're talented, they're going to have options. So you're never not onboarding. Now the binder or the 1-day seminar, whatever the bit is that we used to do, that's destroyed. And COVID actually did, thankfully, it's a silver lining of COVID. COVID actually helped move that 20 years in advance, where they basically said, you don't have to go to the room and watch a video and do all that stuff. We'll do that because some of the policies and the compliance stuff has to be done. Okay, fair. But how can we make onboarding enjoyable for the person? And I think that and this is true of a lot of HR, is they cookie cutter it. So they create one and they basically say everybody has to be onboarded in this way.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't.
Yeah. I think there's some sort of standard thread, but the uniqueness of the function, the role, the manager, the team, the region, I think all needs to be
personalized,
malleable. Okay. So we could talk about onboarding in a whole nother episode. Would you like to do that?
We're going to tackle that. I got offboarding too.
Back to AI. So you talked about the importance of making bold decisions, even in uncertainty. So what's your advice for leaders who struggle with committing to a direction without all the data, particularly in this realm of AI?
So 2 things you want to tackle there is, what is certainty? And I think some of this, we can go back to historical events, but let's just go back to the election of 2016. I think a lot of people in that election, because it was so polarizing, they just froze. Again, didn't matter who you voted for or any of that other stuff. It was just the event was polarizing. And I think a lot of people then looked at the midterms, and 2 years into it, they're like, okay, now we'll have certainty. That didn't happen. Then all of a sudden the 2020 election is we're going to have certainty. Okay, that didn't happen. And then 2022 midterms again. All right, we're gonna have certainty. That didn't happen. We've just been through another election, and there's no such thing as certainty. So let's just go ahead and kill a couple myths. There's no such thing as stability. There's no such thing as certainty. Those are myths. Those are things constructs that we make up to make life make sense. So there is no such thing as certainty. So if anybody's waiting for certainty, you're going to be waiting for a long time. That's just, there's never a moment where you're going to be certain that this works. Secondly, all the data. Let's go ahead and kill that myth. You'll never have all the data. It's a game of making a decision with enough data that you feel comfortable. And oh, by the way, you're comfortable is getting uncomfortable with being uncomfortable.
Dealing with ambiguity.
You gotta get wade in, get in deep, and get comfortable with that ambiguity. Get comfortable with I'm not going to have all the data. I'm going to make the best decision I can with the data I have. So the way I talk to leaders about it is like, listen, there's no magical moment. Look at the data, think about your experience, talk to your peers, and then set a North Star and go. And oh, by the way, if you need to change that, you set another North Star and you go. It's no
Right.
big deal.
Yeah.
But the certainty, stability, I think people, they use that as a crutch. Either they use it as a crutch and it's purposeful, or they're just unsure, really unsure about how it's going to play out. And they don't want to make a mistake.
Yeah.
And both are costing in terms of innovation. And in terms of making mistakes is how we learn. Like again, trying to be perfect anywhere in HR, but let's just deal with AI. There's no such thing. You're going to be perfect. Whatever you think you're going to launch, you're going to launch it, and then 2 months later, you're going to be like, yeah, we need to do something a little bit different with that. Okay.
Well, I think like leadership being okay with, not making repercussions will allow people to make decisions faster, learn faster, but those come at a cost of making some mistakes, right? But they're getting to the decision faster by making those mistakes and instead of waiting and hesitating.
So a great example of that is when President Kennedy said that we're going to put a man on the moon by the end of the decade. NASA wasn't a thing. They didn't have NASA. So they had some people that were tinkering around with it in the Air Force, but they didn't have like all of that stuff. So one of the things you learned about NASA and to fulfill on that goal that was set is they had to fail fast. And so what they did is they celebrated failure. So they had champagne, they had cake in the refrigerator, already cooled. So when an engine blew up, it wasn't that was like, all right, cool. Let's meet in the conference area. Everybody have cake, have a little bit of champagne, because now we know that didn't work. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's one less thing that we don't have to try. Let's try something different.
One more piece of knowledge that we can use.
Right. And so if leaders looked at marketing, generally speaking, does have some latitude to fail. There is like, okay, we tried this, especially in B2B marketing, we tried this email campaign. It was horrible. Didn't work out. We tried another campaign. It was awesome. So they do get rewarded in some sense of trying experimentation and failing, quite frankly. Like, it's okay. Like, I mean, I work with a lot of marketers, and I'm a recovering marketer. And I just basically say, listen, the more you fail, the better. Or just keep throwing the spaghetti against the wall. Whatever sticks, try it, put it in your A, put something on the B, and then just keep rolling. Just keep rolling, because your audience is changing. You're developing your tone, your voice, all this stuff, new products, like all that stuff's changing, and it's okay to fail. And I think leaders in particular need to tell people it's okay, and maybe even make the mistakes themselves. Like that would be
lead by example.
Right. Like, oh, let me tell you about how I failed at this bit. and then it allows people to then say, well, if she's talking about it, then then I've got permission to talk about how I feel. And then it's not a career ender. It's someone being confident enough to say, yeah, we are some of our failures and successes too. But the successes aren't really successes. They're failures that actually worked out. So again, I would, if I were talking directly to anyone in the C-suite or the board, quite frankly, I'd say you need to normalize failure.
Yeah.
Not
failing fast.
Right.
Not failing slow.
No.
Right?
No.
Or failing slow is, taking a year to decide, right?
Worse. Avoiding to make a decision, which is what you and I talked pre-show. It's like, I'm just not going to make a decision and hope it goes away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is
right.
AI is not going away.
So let's talk a little more about talent acquisition. How has this pause affected the way the companies approach hiring, and what might they be missing or holding back?
Well, you got great technologies now in matching, skills-based matching or otherwise. You got great tools, AI tools in finding, so sourcing. So you can find the talent, you can match the talent in a pretty good way. There's still a moment of humanization. So the way I talk to TA leaders is your sourcers and some of your recruitment marketers, some of the position players that you had, it's not like you don't need them. You need them. You need them to be doing different things because the audience, i.e. candidates, needs something different from them. And in this case, they don't need you at the beginning. They need you at the moment of when they're really serious and you're serious, and you can have a call with them and tell them a little bit more about the team, the project, kind of sell the company and the bit, and then get to know them. And again, that moment of humanization, there's only so much the technology is going to give you. Getting on the phone, getting on a Zoom, getting to know somebody without the pressure of trying to, I don't know, be perfect. Like, just that's where I think recruiters flourish. So if you can take away a lot of the low-hanging, low-value stuff that they do and get them into a position where they're talking to candidates, they're just like, all right, tell me a little bit about what you're trying to achieve. What are your values? Tell me a little bit, and then ask me 100 questions. What is a hiring manager like? What's the team like? What projects am I looking at? Like, all that stuff, to where it's already been a good match, technically.
Right.
But the human then can add on top of that, can add the spice of, okay, this is not just a technical match. It's a really, really good match for both parties.
You mentioned that hiring for adaptability, I would say, is really more important. And so how can organizations shift their approach to prioritizing, agility over traditional experience?
Yeah, some of that's personality, and some of that is you can do it with simulations.
Oh, I like that.
So you can do it in scenarios and simulations and put people through those types of things where they don't have all the data and they have to make a decision. And so you can kind of test for it, if you will, but you need adaptability, you need ambiguity, you need people that can be adaptable. And it's not just for the sake of those things. It's for the sake of work going forward is moving faster. And so you need people that can consume change faster. Like all human beings hate change. There isn't anyone out there that's like, change everything every day.
I love change. I do.
Every day. Like,
I mean,
is that ficus tree? Is that going to be on the other side next tomorrow?
I mean, maybe not every single day, but I do thrive in changing environments. But I think I'm a unique animal. I'm weird like that. I think that's why consulting works for me, and not everybody likes that. But
I was a horrible.
I would agree with you. That is actually the biggest challenge that I had being internal.
Right.
And
because you wanted to move faster.
Yes, I wanted to move faster. I wanted to go to the next thing, and it was a struggle. It's definitely a struggle. I mean, it's still a struggle for most people. It's terrifying. Change is terrifying. Yeah.
It's easier for consultants because you're giving advice. They don't have to take your advice. And in a lot of cases, they're paying for your advice to not take your advice.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
that's why I was a horrible consultant, is because I would give them advice thinking that they're going to take the advice. Like, you just had me go research this thing. I researched it. I put my life into it. Here's what you should do. And they're like, thank you so much. We're going to get you paid. And yeah, we're not going to do any of that.
Thank you. Thank you for the.
It just sent me on. Why is he sucking on his thumb? I was horrible at it because I wanted him to take the advice. So yours is more, your pace is quicker than the pace of corporate, in a lot of corporate environments. Your pace would probably be better suited, if you would ever do it, to startups. Why adaptability, agility, dealing with ambiguity, all of those types of things, is because the world is moving faster than it once did. So settling in and going, okay, you're going to be an account manager, and this is what you're going to do, and every day is going to look the same for 6 months or 9 months, whatever. Yeah, that's over. So you have to have somebody tell them that and say, okay, well, you're going to be doing this until the things change, and you need to be retrained and deployed in a different way. So it's making sure the candidate understands it, making sure that the hiring manager understands, team understands that the ground beneath you is shifting all the time. That's just basic geology. So it's always changing. This is not that. It's happening faster. And so you have to have a team of people that can move with it, as opposed to entrench themselves in the way they used to do it. And so you need less people that are kind of, this is the way we've always done it. This is the way that we do it. You need more people like, if we weren't doing it this way, how would we do it?
Right.
Recalibrate. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No. I have so many questions for you. That's all.
And I'm a horrible guest, by the way.
No, you're not.
No, I'm a horrible guest because I'm used to being a host or co-host. So I'm used to asking questions.
Right.
So then now I'm on the other end of the firing line. I'm like, I don't know if I like this. Anyhow, go ahead.
You better like it, because I'm going to ask you to come back. So, or get used to it. You have to change, right? You have to adapt.
Yes. Speaking of, yes.
Speaking of,
go ahead.
We'll be right back. Back to the show. What do you see as the biggest challenges for leaders in embracing AI without getting overwhelmed?
I think it's just starting. I think that's the biggest challenge, is just start in your own life. Like the thing is, so I do this bit. So first of all, Google Maps, it's all AI, right? Like, you use Google Maps, you get in your car, you use a navigator, and it tells you where the traffic is and all that stuff. That's AI. So you're a consumer of AI already. Alexa and Amazon, the request, that people bought this product, also bought, that's all AI. So you've been dealing with forms of AI forever. So, like, you don't have to be terrified of it, but you need to start. And so, like, the University of Texas has a master's degree program for AI. It's $10,000. It's a year and a half. So if you want to throw it down and go, you know what, I actually need to learn this stuff, you don't have to be a programmer to learn AI. So start somewhere. If not educational like that, you can do things on YouTube, Khan Academy. Just learning how algorithms work would be useful. I think an easy access point for executives and leaders is something like ChatGPT, Gemini, those types of kind of consumer products, where you learn how to ask questions. You learn how to be a prompt engineer without calling it prompt engineering. And I think that's where you just start. Like, the first thing I asked when ChatGPT was like the day it launched, the first thing I asked it, I was like, write William Tincup's obituary in 500 words or less.
Oh, stop it.
Swear to God. First thing I did. And it just goes through it, and it's just getting all this data from public, right? At 98% spot on. And it was written like an obituary. It is with great sadness that we announce.
No.
I
Why couldn't you just say bio or not obituary?
No, because I think one of the best things you can do now, just as a side tangent, when you're really serious about a candidate, really serious, have them write their obituary.
See what they want to accomplish in their life. I got you.
It's a wonderful hack. It's a little dark, totally get it, but it's a wonderful hack because you see them. You get to see what they've accomplished, what they feel they've accomplished, and then what they would like to accomplish, to be known for, legacy, family, whatever. Like you get to see into their mind. It's beautiful. Anyhow, so it writes the obituary. I turn around and say, okay, now write that obituary in Richard Pryor's voice. And at the time, it wouldn't do it because it came back and said, death's not funny. And so we can't make you can't make the obituary funny. Mm-hmm. It's since changed, by the way. So you can actually go and write your obituary and write it in whatever your favorite comedian is. You can write it in their voice.
So tell me more about what strategies that you've seen work well in encouraging teams to really take risk and make decisions quickly, like even when there's no clear answer.
My favorite bit that I've seen is kind of a leaderboard where people they're encouraged to discover new AI tools. So a new AI newsletter, a new tool, and they're encouraged, like in a team meeting, like, okay, by the time we get to next Tuesday, everybody come with their favorite tool. What's your favorite tool? And it's show and tell so that you can move everyone's literacy, AI literacy up. So listening to AI podcasts, consuming AI content, in all kinds of forms that you can get to it. But where I've seen it actually with teams work best is you enable everyone to say, yeah, go out and find some cool stuff and then come back and then teach us that cool stuff so that now we know it. And now we'll just kind of keep building on that.
But in practicality, how often are we doing that, right? Are we doing it once a month, once a year, once a week?
Once a
How
week.
many people are...
Once a week. Once a week.
Once a week, 30-minute meeting within your
show and tell.
Immediate function.
Show
and tell. I like that.
I found a thing that puts memes inside of historical paintings. All right. Like there's no wrong because at one point you might need to access that. And so you can remember back, and a lot of people are recording these so that they now have a content library of AI tools. So if they can't remember that one, they can go back into their CMS or LMS or wherever they put that content, they can go and find it. And the tools are happening. That's why you don't want to do it once a month or once every 6 months or whatever, once a quarter, is there's probably 1,000 AI apps or tools being launched a day.
Yeah, I'm going to say, like at least.
So you go to Product Hunt and you can't keep up with it. No one can. So I think as a team, the leader could probably say, okay, we're looking at performance. Let's just think about performance and the intersections of performance and AI. Go find anything that's relevant to that.
But I think also, coming from like my point of view, like how do we actually implement these things? It really should be based on the business need, right? I mean, that's great to have these ideas flourishing.
Right.
They're creative. They spark other ideas, constantly coming in. But, there's only so much we can go after as a business. Like we have to prioritize, right? Or we can't wrap our head around anything. And so having like an AI show and tell of solving a specific business problem, I think would be really cool.
And making it fun. I mean, you could also do this with rewards and recognition, right? Like do it as a competition where people are trying to kind of outdo each other, which is fun too for certain cultures, business cultures. It would absolutely, that's probably how you would game it is you basically like, listen, we're going to put, $500 on this bit and we'll all vote and you can't vote for yourself. So like we'll just do a bit and everyone do their presentation. Okay. We got 5 minutes of Q&A. All right. Everybody does their stuff. We vote on it and everybody wins because everyone's literacy is going up. That's what we are missing in general is we're allowing everyone to just kind of go out and figure out AI on their own. And as a business, this needs to be one of the critical initiatives, is teaching AI to everyone what you know and what you don't know. Like, it's okay to like, hey, we haven't found a tool that does this yet. And that's okay, because it allows people to then go, well, I'll see if I can find one. So even the stuff that's not necessarily tied to a business initiative, it could be tied to the next business initiative that's around the corner. So you still got to raise the literacy, but I think an easy application is the way that you already formulated in your mind. It's like, listen, we're going to do it once a week. It's going to be tied to some business objective initiative. And if your culture warrants it or it makes sense, then I would do some type of rewards and recognition around it.
Yeah. And then once it's selected, you need to put a team together to actually implement.
Boom. Career Builder. So Career Builder years ago used to do this bit where it was $1 million. And you have to come up with a bit. You don't have to, first of all. If you came up with a business idea, then you submitted it to a business case competition. And this was from all Career Builder employees. And then you win $1 million, and then they spin that company out and they put people behind it. Sometimes a person, but sometimes other people behind it. They spin it out and they roll it into their services. That's why they had so many products, because they had people coming up with crazy products that no one would have thought of.
Innovative, creative, diverse.
So I think the larger question is, how do you incentivize innovation? And what we focused on is around AI is you've got to talk about it. You've got to teach. You got to learn. You got to be receptive.
I even think, to just push it like an extra, mile further, is that solve a business problem with or without AI. Which one is better?
That's right. Right. That's your A/B test.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Because sometimes AI, especially at the stage that it's at, it's like I deal with a lot of AI chatbots, that are in support, right? Help. And if they get to a certain point, like I've had them that I didn't have to talk to anybody. Like, it solved my problem. And I've had some of them where I'm like, nah, I need to actually talk to a human being because they're not getting the bit.
Yeah.
So like that's true of all AI problems. Sometimes it's not there yet, but it's going to be there. So it's just now you're dealing with when do you shift to AI for those specific processes and things like that within a business. And you're always evaluating. You're always looking at that to see, where is this going to automate something that needs to be automated, augment something that needs to be augmented, or just completely tear it down and build it over again.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
William, we are out of time.
What?
And I feel like I feel like our episode could be like 3 more episodes.
Joe Rogan style? All right.
I'm going to invite you back now live on the show, because I feel like this conversation is not over. We have more to do. So thank you for being here.
100%.
Thank you for your presence, your knowledge that you've brought to the show.
Well, thank you.
Can't wait to have you on again. So I've already committed you to this.
I understand.
Yeah. And oh, by the way, we are very happy to be joining the network.
That's right.
Work-Defined Network. So CPO Playbook is now on the Work-Defined Network with William Tincup leading the charge. We're very happy to be part of this family with you.
We're happy to have you.
Yeah, and it's going to be a blast.
It is going to be a blast.
Thanks again.
Well, thank you for joining. Thank you for having me as a guest. And also thank you for joining Work-Defined. We appreciate it.
Our pleasure. If today's episode captured your interest, please consider sharing it with a friend and leaving a review. To learn more about how CPO Playbook can support you or a leader you know with executive coaching or organizational transformation, visit us at cpoplaybook.com. Your support as a subscriber means the world to us, so thank you for tuning in. I'm Felicia Shakiba, Let's connect on LinkedIn. See you next Wednesday.